Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. Come on in and get comfortable. Welcome back to my channel, Jaleesa, Reading Beyond the Book Cover, where we stay reading beyond the book's cover. My name is Jaleesa. Welcome if it's your first time, and welcome back if you are returning. If you are listening on Spotify, just know, not just Spotify, all podcasting platforms, just know that I am going to do this video and upload it there because several reasons. One, if I need to find some place that is less echoey, it's going to be my car. And I am not about to go and sit in my car at 9:19 p.m talking for however long that I plan on talking about this book, which is The Oath by T.M. Richardson, because that'll be a little bit uncomfortable and possibly unsafe just sitting in your car. So I'm going to do this and hope that the audio comes out in a way where you can still understand what I'm saying. Um, you're going to hear the air condition, just letting you know it's really hot here where I live at, and I refuse to be uncomfortable in my own home. I've said that before, and I'm going to continue to say that because it's my truth. But I've tried to record this video before. I was trying to do it on OBS, and it shut down on me. And some of that video, even though it was saved, parts of it froze. So it's okay. It's okay. That's the things that I tell myself. It's okay. But my plan is for this review slash reaction is to give you the synopsis, let you know what I liked, what I disliked, who I would have chosen, or not chosen. Depends on how I'm feeling right now. What else? Who I would recommend this book to. You're most likely going to see my rating when I show you the synopsis anyway on Storygraph, so I won't go into that. And anything else that pops up in my head, because this is a book reaction. If you're new here, I usually don't read the synopsis of books before I read them. And I'm always genuinely surprised at what I've got myself into. That is a joy and the fun and the adventure in reading. So yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the synopsis. But before that, let me let you all know how I came across this book. So this book here was recommended or suggested, and you know what? Actually, I didn't want to say that. I feel like it was just mentioned by Adrienne from Sister Harlem's Library. She mentioned this book, and I was like, well, let me try it out because I think she had seen it floating around on TikTok. Me, I'm not on TikTok like that. I'm not even on social media like that. So I never really know what's going on or what's the pulse of today's, popular book trends. So I was like, let me try. My library had the audiobook, picked it up and started reading it. Let me read you the synopsis first and then we can get into it. Okay. All right, let's go. I'm gonna show you my screen. Let me share and present. Da-da-da-da. How are you all doing? I know it's been a day for me. I had to drop my husband off at the airport and I had some other things going on as well. So I had a pretty busy day. So The Oath, okay. The Oath is by T.M. Richardson, okay? And it is part of the Secrets series. This is book number 1. The narrator of the book that I read, which is the audiobook, is Lacey Laurel. And it's 6 hours and 23 minutes. Let me show you all what the physical book, I think is under 300 pages. I'm pretty sure it's like 200 and something pages. Let's see. Yeah, so I was right. See, 215 pages if you read the ebook, I'm assuming. And then if you read the physical book, it's going to be 290 something pages. That's what it looks like. Oh no, I lied, 288. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and read the synopsis so you can see why I'm just like, oh. And it's funny because I actually wasn't going to do a review for this because it is erotica and it is romance, and I don't know who was watching my videos most of the time, but it's fine. I was like, girl, just do it. It's whatever. It's just a book. So the synopsis or the description says, does a second chance at happiness include your husband's three best friends? Miles, Deacon, and Cassidy are Franklin's best friends, brothers in every sense of the word. When Franklin asks his brothers to do something unorthodox as his dying wish, the trio has some reservations. When they tell his widow about the oath that they were bound in brotherhood to uphold, will she run or embrace a new phase of her life that includes the three of them? Tatum thought she'd found forever until tragedy struck. When her husband of 22 years dies, Tatum feels her world has ended. Little does she know that Franklin's last request opens a Pandora's box to something even greater and fulfilling than she ever imagined. Will dating three men open up her world and give her heart a second chance at happiness? So that is the synopsis there. That's the synopsis there. Y'all, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna change this here so it looks like what I want it to look like, which is I have some pictures that are already uploaded on my end, so you all can see what that looks like. But yeah, that was a synopsis. Remember, I did not read it before I started reading the book, so uh, surprise, 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 surprise. I was surprised, baby. I ain't never in my life, never ever, never ever did I think, hmm, woo, that I would come across a book like this. It's a why choose novel, and you can read between the lines when it comes to that. But yes, it's a why choose novel, and I gave it 3 stars only because I'm not a big romance reader anyway, or erotica. I can do without having any kind of scenes like that in my book, but I appreciate the book for its informational aspects as well as just I guess the happiness of the characters in general. That is how I feel and how what I took away from the book, the happiness of it all. You know, things don't have to stop after your spouse is gone. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say right there. But let me kind of build up to what I remember of the book, and then go from there. So I'm going to talk about it up until we get to whatever the synopsis had, and then I'm going to stop because I want this to be kind of spoiler free. Then I'm going to talk about my likes, my dislikes, and all the other things that I always list. I don't know how long we're going to be here, so go ahead and get you some water while you can, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to just go off on a tangent because it's difficult to stay on task with books like this. Mm. Let me show y'all. This is so cute. You see that? Unapologetically dope. Okay. Black Girl Magic. We got some of those too. Well, not we. My sister. My sister got that for me. What is happening with my camera? It's brand new. It's having a hard time focusing on me, but it's all right. All right. So, what I was trying to say, the oath. So it starts off like this. I'm listening to it. Yeah. So I'm listening to it, and you have Tatum. She has been married to her husband of 22 years. His name is Franklin. Franklin is a lawyer. She is a English professor, if I remember correctly. So she's taking care of him because he has an illness. There are some trigger warnings at the beginning of the book, so please take care of yourself and do your best. But make sure you read it first if you want to. Um, so you'll know whether or not there's something in the book that may be harmful to you in your mental health. Uh, so that happens. They're talking to each other, and he randomly is like, "Hey, babe, I know it's been a long time since we've been together, since we've been familiar with each other. When's the last time you touched yourself?" And she's like, Franklin, why are you asking me these kind of questions? Like, you're supposed to be focusing on getting better. What's going on? So Franklin is like, look, I want you to get your back blown out. Yes, he said it just like that. So he tells her to go to the sex club that they used to go to when they were dating. I don't know if they did it in a marriage or not, but they would go there and just watch people. I don't think they're really engaged with anything. So he's like, babe, go pay for the membership. I want you to go have a good time. So she's a little like leery about it, but she tells her, I think her cousin, she's like, hey, cousin, this is what husband said. What you think about it? She's like, girl, you should go take advantage of it. Now, this place is expensive. If I remember correctly, I'm going to say that a lot because I've been a little bit detached from the book for a couple of days or weeks. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like $10,000 to either pay for a membership or reinstate the membership, and then for each year after that, it'll be $2,000. So it's very expensive. So you want to make sure you get your money's worth, right? But it's like a high dollar place. It's not just any old schmoes there. People there are there that can afford it because they do some things. Things as in you have pastors there, you have football, basketball, all the sports people, you have musicians, anybody that's in the upper what 1 or 10%, excuse me, when it comes to earning, they're there. So it's kind of hard for me not to look at myself down here. So and it's bothering me that this looks really foggy, like it's having a hard time focusing. Hold on, let me see if it can focus on this pen. See, now it's doing it. Maybe it's just me. It's just my so they go to the sex club. It's called Club Secrets. And when she gets in there, she does get approached by somebody. But before she can kind of go along with it, actually, one of the friends of of her husband is there. Um, and she's like, "What you doing here?" Okay, his name was Cassidy. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Go home." And she's like, but my husband told me I can come here. He's like, I don't care, go home. So it's like no questions asked kind of thing. So she does go home. She goes home, but when she gets there, it's a little bit too late. Her husband, he's about to pass away. He has a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate order or agreement. So he passes away. After he passes away, time has passed. You know, now it's the funeral. And at the funeral, she's approached by three of his best friends, Cassidy, Deacon, and what was the other person's name? I just said it. Hold up. Give me a moment. Miles. I wanted to call him Miles. They approach her and they're like, hey, so, so sorry for your loss. We're going to have to make some adjustments, get used to Franklin not being here anymore. But before he left, he told us that if you needed anything, to make sure that you reach out to us, whether it be money, um, entertainment, company, just let us know. And then you have this one guy, which is Deacon. Deacon is like the silliest character to me, in my opinion. It's like the author wants you to take him serious, and she most likely did. If I were to read it with my eyes, I think I would have taken him seriously. But because the audiobook, I'll get into that later. The audiobook, the way it was read, was kind of comical to me. I thought he was like a Cat Williams kind of character. So you could just imagine. I was like, okay, what? And he's like, if you need anything, I mean anything, let us know. And she was like, I'm fine. Like my husband, we both made really good money. We made very responsible and investments. Like I'm good with money. I don't need any money. I'll be fine. I know how to fill my time. Like thank you for your services. No, thank you. Like I'm good. You go ahead, live your life. We can still be friends. Like we don't connect outside of my husband anyway. That's how she sees it. But they reiterate again, no, he made us promise. And what they did is they pull out this, I think it was like a USB or a cassette tape, something like that, a recording of the husband saying, hey, I give you my blessing. I've always wanted you to never lose your spark when it comes to your sexual appetite. I feel like the last couple of years, you've been holding me down here when I was sick and I couldn't perform the way that I wanted to. So, babe, please, like, go get your life and get it with these three of my friends. And he doesn't say it exactly like that, but that's how I heard it. I heard it like you can do anything with them. And it's not like it's just sex because it's all kind of other things as well. Like as you read the book, you start understanding how the dynamics of the relationship develops and how they're able to keep it the way that it is and keep it going. So I'm going to start right there because I will spoil the book if I keep going. So what I liked about the book was showing the dynamics of how the relationship became for all three of them together, or four, because it's a quad. Um, she had like one-on-ones with each of them first before they all got together and had their different agreements as to what they will and will not allow in their relationship together as a quad. Um, I also enjoyed the portrayal of how to like do things safely and responsibly. And what I mean by that is nobody ever feels like they're in harm's way. Nobody feels like they're being taken advantage of in any kind of way. They're also being aware that each person needs to make sure that they're taken care of physically for like nourishment. So make sure you drink your water because there's a lot of activity going on. You get what I'm saying? And make sure you eat food because for whatever reason, the people in this group, it's almost like with children when you tell them, come eat your food, and they don't want to eat because they're having too much fun. So, yeah, that's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing the little aspects of that, how they work together and how they take care of each other. It's a unit, and how they always check on each other. There's a lot of "Are you okay?" I really value that in any kind of romance or erotica that I'm reading, because that means you're checking on each other and you're present. You're not just in your own zone doing your own thing. You're worried about the person that you're with. And in this case, you got four people, so that's even more to deal with. So that's my likes. I I don't call it dislikes because it wasn't really a dislike, but I guess something that like kind of irritated me was the names they would always say, like, "Hey, mama," "Hey, big mama." I'm sorry, I'm checking myself out because it's funny, and I say it like that because the audio. I wish I had the audio book. I kind of do. I have the sample. Go and check it out. I'm not gonna play it on here, but it's the author made the men sound like these old Baptist pastors when they were speaking. So I was like, how can I get into this when nobody sounds sexy, at least not to me? Nobody was making me blush. It was just making me laugh. But I get it. Like wherever they were living at, maybe that was the accent of the place. But yeah, I was getting a little agitated with the hey mama, hey sugar, uh, mom, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of mamas, like big mamas, come here, sugar. It was a lot. So it kept happening. I was just like, like just call her Tatum. Call her by her name, baby. If you can't tell, I'm not really into like the pet names and stuff. Just call me my name, Jaleesa. Don't. I give you one name. Don't be calling me all these other things. It's just, yeah, it was a lot. But if you're into that, this book is for you. Um, this is not necessarily a complaint, but it's just something that's not for me. So I'm gonna just mention it because I feel like if there's an audience out here, now I remember I don't really read a lot of erotica or romance. So reading this book was out of my comfort zone. Not I wasn't uncomfortable, but it's like certain scenes I'm like, this is going on for a long time. I think I made a note of some of the scenes that went on for a little bit longer than I would have wanted to. But I know that this is not for me. This is for somebody else. Okay. Let me show you. Well, let me read it, not show you. I think, but I remember the chapter. Was it chapter 19? I feel like maybe in my audiobook, I had marked chapter 19. I'm pretty sure it was chapter 19. Chapter 19 was long and it was a lot going on. And I was like, sorry, like, girl, all of them? That's a lot of people. But everybody has different staminas, but everybody's enjoying themselves in that chapter. It's a lot going on, but it was so long. And just listening to it. I remember listening to it from the time I had left my house to drive all the way to my sister's house, which is like 45 minutes. It's a 45-minute drive. Why are we doing this for so long? That's how I was. But I know some people get their life from a long chapter like that with all the stuff going on. It's not boring sex scenes. It's very adventurous. They're doing all kinds of stuff. It was a lot. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. But she was getting her life. She was like, I like this now. At first, she was a little hesitant about easing into this relationship with these three friends, compadres. But she was like, you know what? My husband, he knew what he was doing before before he left me here all alone. So yeah, I think that's the only thing I can really mention, that the names, the pet names that kind of ick me out a little bit. When I ick, it's just kind of like, oh, I kept hearing a baby or sugar, and then the accent. I don't know where that came from. Oh, that's another thing. So the accents, I don't know. It's like sometimes the author, because not the author, the narrator, because some of the people are highly educated Black people. She made them sound like they were code switching the entire time sometimes. So it was really hard to. My brain was like, woo! I could. I couldn't be in a room with these people talking without smiling, because I'm wondering, why won't you be comfortable? But maybe that's how they comfortably talk. Um, I know how to code switch. I've done it most, not all of my life. Do I like doing it? Not really. But to hear that, especially when the son would talk, oh, the son, if you know, you know, the son, when he speaks, it's very, he articulates everything, but it's just very hard the way he talks. It's hard to explain. But yeah, the narration, it was maybe supposed to be a sign of where they were living. So that's why they were talking the way they were talking. But to me, it just made me laugh. So it didn't match up. That's just me. Just me. You may love it. You may enjoy it. Let me stop moving so much, because this camera is like not focusing every time I start moving around. Um, but yeah, I liked it. I gave it 3 stars, because everything evened out. I mean, regardless of the long sex scenes, and it just keeps going on when you think everybody's done. It evens out or balances out, because there's a lot of informative scenes, and there are informative parts where they're telling people, hey, when you're in this doing this kind of activity, make sure you have safe words, especially if you are engaging in BDSM. If you're going to go into a relationship like this, have some kind of boundaries. Let everybody know how everything is gonna shuck and jive. Make sure you're checking on each other. Ask, are you okay? Are you all right? Make sure you got water on deck. Make sure everybody's satiated. Make sure you eat your food. You can still have fun, children. Okay, adult children, you can. But make sure that you take care of yourself in the process of having all this bodily fun. Um, what else? So I said my likes, my dislikes. It's not really a dislike. And who I would recommend it to. So who I would recommend it to is anybody that likes erotica. Anybody. And even if you don't, try it out. I say read it for maybe the first, I don't know, maybe an hour for the audiobook, maybe the first 5 chapters for the physical or the ebook, and see if you like it. You never know, it may be a new jam. As far as who I would choose, that's the thing. So this is a why choose novel. So it's like you really don't have to choose. But me, at the end of the day, it's like I ended up not really wanting to be with any of the people, which was surprising, because at first I was really into Cassidy. Cassidy seems like he has his head on straight. He's really quiet. Nobody really knew what his job was until after Franklin died. And when Tatum was getting to know him, that's how we got to know him as well. But he seems cool, but he has some ways that seem a little bit possessive. And I don't do possessive, is something that's like a red flag for me. And it's something I would have to like pull the man to the side and be like, hey, you think that's cute, but it's not. At least not to me. And then you have Deacon. I couldn't take him seriously. He reminds me of Cat Williams, at least the way that the narrator read his voice. So I really wasn't interested in him too much. He seemed to be the more free spirited of all of them, and I think I would be more hesitant to be with him sexually, only because he's always, not always, but he seems to share his body, and engage in God knows what. And of course, yes, he's safe, and I think he said he takes so many tests every so often, blah blah blah. Yeah, but still, though, like I have one life to live in one body, and I'm not about to take that risk. But she took the risk, and she trusted him. And it's not to say that everybody can't do that, because there's people out there that have been living their lives sexually transmitted diseases free, so STD free, STI free, because they're responsible, blah, 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 blah. But me, I'm a one person woman, and it's hard for me to trust. Like, honestly, I thought that when I was younger, I was going to be alone, a virgin with a dog, because I had no interest, still don't have much of any interest in sex. It's one of those things where I'm trying to figure out, like, what makes people want it so much? Because I'm ace. If you all didn't know already, I'm ace. Okay. And sorry, my watch is going off. But yeah, y'all didn't come in for that. But I'm just letting you know that's my perspective. So coming from an ace perspective for myself, I don't think I would necessarily choose what's his name, Beacon, because he's out there doing whatever, and I can't. I can't deal with that. My conscience would be like, so I wonder how many people he's been with today. Like, I can't separate him from the number of people that he's been with or has been with within the last 24 hours before trying to be with me. And then Miles was very forgettable. That's the problem. So Miles was there. I think he's the only one that's a lawyer, or maybe it was Miles and Deacon that are lawyers. Cassidy isn't a lawyer, but Miles, he was like in the background. I don't feel like his character was fully fleshed for me, because it seemed like Cassidy was the main one. Like, truly, if I really were to choose somebody, but I have to be able to sit down and talk to them about their possessiveness, it would be Cassidy. I would choose him. But Miles, he was in the background. And like I said, with Deacon, goofy, not my type. So, yeah, that's it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you all got to know maybe a little bit too much about me today. But I've always been pretty transparent about any and everything that goes on with me for the most part. I do have boundaries though, so I didn't tell you all my business. I just told you some of my business. But let me know, like, would you be interested in something like this as far as a reading experience, a lived experience? Would you consider this if your partner were to pass away today? Would this be one of the things that you would consider if it was offered to you from your partner or your recently deceased partner? That's the question that needs an answer. I've already answered it. I don't think I'd be up for it because it's a lot of people to deal with, and I don't like dealing with too many people. Too many people, besides sexually, but just people in general. Having so many people around me at one time, it can be a lot to compartmentalize. Like, okay, so what does this person like to talk about? What does this person like to do? And it's not like I can't do that now, but they're gonna always be around me. That's a difference. It'll be different if it was like separate and you only see them every now and then. These people, she's seeing them every single week. They're in her life in some kind of way. So if she has a date with one person one night, she has a date with another person another night. So there's no break. And she seems to be up for the challenge. She's not elderly. She's most likely in her 40s, I want to say. So there are some points where she's thinking like, am I too old for this? So I do appreciate that. I forgot to mention it earlier in my likes. But she's up for the challenge. She's excited about dating again and getting to know these people that have been in her life most of this time, but for whatever reason, she never really had the opportunity to actually get to know them outside of her husband. So yeah, it's a good book. Again, the question I'm asking you all: would you do this? Would you take the opportunity to be a part of a quad if your spouse or partner was like, hey, before I pass, I want to make sure that you're taken care of in every way? Every way. Oh, that's enough. I've been talking for 28 minutes. If you're here this entire time, I want you to leave me a dancing emoji. The little salsa dancing emoji. Leave me that. Because this book was a spicy good time. And I look forward to reading other books from T.M. Richardson. Not this year, though. I think this book was enough erotica for me for the rest of 2024. So next year, I may pick up book 2 if it's available to me from my library. Until next time, I want you to drink your water because I'm drinking mine. Mind the business that's yours. And continue reading beyond the book's cover. My name is Jaleesa. Thank you for your time. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.